The sky burned gold as alien warships cracked through Earth's atmosphere. People screamed, buildings shook. No one had warned the humans, no one knew the war had already started. Captain Raylan Drake stood at the edge of the ruined base holding his pulse rifle. His eyes scanned the horizon for survivors. All communication had gone silent an hour ago. The first wave hit too fast and too hard. They were not just invaders. They were warriors, from a species Earth had never met before. Reptilian in nature, armored in shimmering scales, they fought like fire itself. No negotiation, no mercy, just domination. Raylan's squad was gone. He was the last one breathing from the Southern Command, but instead of retreating, he moved toward the signal. A strange pulse was coming from the crater near the landing site. His instincts said to run, but his feet kept moving. When he reached the crater, he saw her. Not a monster, not a soldier, but a tall alien woman with skin like sapphire and eyes that glowed with golden fire. Her armor was formed of living metal, and her presence was terrifying and beautiful. She looked at him calmly, as if expecting his arrival. She didn't raise a weapon. She didn't speak. She just watched him. Her head tilted slightly like she was trying to understand him. Raylan raised his rifle halfway, unsure whether to shoot or talk. He didn't know what protocol to follow anymore. This was not in any manual. Her aura made the air shimmer around her. Then she finally moved. One slow step forward. Her voice echoed in his head instead of his ears. It was soft and full of control. "You are not afraid," she said. That is strange for a human. He didn't know how to answer that. Was he afraid? Maybe. But her voice felt like silk in his mind. It made his thoughts blur. His mouth moved before he could think. "Who are you?" he asked. "I am Queen Zelaria," she replied. "Ruler of the dragon host. This planet is now under our claim. And you, human, have entered sacred ground." Raylan kept his grip tight. "I don't recognize your claim," he said. "Earth isn't yours to take. You come with fire, and will respond with steel." Zelaria didn't flinch. She stepped closer. He could now see the detail of her face. Her skin was patterned like armor, small shimmering scales reflecting sunlight. Her expression shifted, curious. His eyes fell to her arm, where the scales seemed to shift with her movements. They looked so fine, like glass woven into flesh. He found himself asking without thinking, "Do your scales hurt?" She paused, her expression flickering with something like surprise. Then she did something he never expected. She smiled. It was small, sharp, and oddly human. She tilted her head again and said, "Only when you stare like that." Raylan didn't lower his weapon, but his hands were no longer steady. The alien queen stood only a few steps away, glowing softly under the twin suns. The wind carried heat and silence between them like a slow-moving tide. Queen Zelaria's golden eyes narrowed. She studied Raylan's face like she was reading a language hidden under his skin. There was no fear in her gaze, only interest and something deeper that he couldn't name. "Why did you not run?" she asked. "Your kind flees. They scream. They beg, but you—" She leaned in slightly. "You walked straight toward the danger." Raylan breathed slowly. He didn't want to show fear. "I came looking for answers," he said. "I came because I have nothing else left." That answer made her blink slowly. Her posture shifted. The armor on her body clicked gently as it adjusted to her movements. She wasn't just a queen. She was a warrior carved from purpose and pride. She began to walk around him, circling like a shadow made of metal and silk. Her boots made no sound. She didn't touch him. She didn't speak again. She simply looked at him from all angles, as if trying to find the shape of his soul. Raylan stood still. His mind raced, but his body obeyed discipline. He had faced monsters before. He had lost friends, cities, and his past. But this encounter felt different. He wasn't facing death. He was facing something unknown and alive. "You are not like the others," Zelaria finally said. Most humans fight with noise and panic. You fight with silence and eyes that do not blink. I respect that. She stopped in front of him again. Her hands, covered in scaled gloves, lifted slowly. She removed a piece of her shoulder armor and revealed part of her skin. Her blue scales shimmered in the light, thin and beautiful like river stones. Raylan found himself staring, not with lust, with wonder. There was an artistry to her form, as if nature itself had taken its time with her. He realized his hand was shaking, not from fear, but from awe. "Your people call us monsters," she said. "But have you ever asked why we came?" He shook his head. "No one told us," he said. "You appeared. You attacked. We responded. That's war." A sad smile crossed her face. "We did not come for war," she said. "We came to survive. Our sun is dying. Our world is collapsing. Your planet is the only one close enough with the right balance of life and energy." Raylan felt something shift in his chest. Not pity, not sorrow, but connection. He had lost his family in the first week of the invasion. But now he was standing in front of the one who ordered that invasion, and she didn't look evil. "What do you want from me?" he asked. Celeria stepped closer. "I want to understand you," she said, "and I want you to understand me. Because if we keep choosing fear, your people and mine will destroy everything we both have left." Raylan lowered his weapon slowly. Dust swirled between them, caught in a warm breeze that moved like a breath between two hearts. The silence held meaning now. He reached forward not to hurt her but to touch the edge of her scale-covered arm. She didn't stop him. Her skin felt smooth, almost like silk-covered stone. It pulsed faintly beneath his fingers. "They don't hurt," he said. She looked up at him and whispered, "Not when you touch them gently like that." Raylan pulled his hand away slowly. The warmth of her skin still lingered on his fingertips. He hadn't expected her to let him touch her. He hadn't expected her to feel so real. Celeria didn't step back. She let the silence stretch between them like a bridge being built with invisible thread. Her eyes stayed fixed on his, as if searching for something hidden. "You are the first human to touch me without hate," she said. "The first to ask a question instead of lifting a weapon. That means something to me." Raylan didn't know what to say. He had been trained for war, not conversation. He had been told aliens were threats, not people. But now, standing before this queen, everything he thought was being rewritten. "What happens now?" he asked. She turned slowly and looked up at the twin suns. The light made her scales glow like polished glass. Around them, the desert air shimmered with heat, and the distant hum of her ship rumbled softly beneath the surface. "My guards will come soon," she said. "If they find you here, they'll kill you. No questions, no mercy. That is their way. I cannot stop them all." "Then why did you stay?" he asked. "Why wait here alone, knowing I might arrive?" She looked at him with something close to softness. "Because I needed to see if there was one human who could listen. Just one." Raylan nodded slowly. "And did you find one?" Her smile was brief but genuine. "Perhaps I did." The moment was delicate. Raylan could feel the weight of it pressing on his chest. One wrong move, and everything would collapse. But one right word, and something new might begin. "I want to understand more," he said. "If there's still a chance to stop this war, I'll take it." Celeria took a step closer. Her voice was lower now. "There is one way," she said. "But it is dangerous, forbidden even among my people. I've faced danger every day since this war began," he said. "Tell me what it is." She studied him again. Then she reached into her armor and pulled out a small glowing shard. It pulsed with a faint, green light like a living heartbeat trapped in crystal. "This is a memory core," she explained. "It holds my thoughts, feelings, decisions, everything about me. If I give this to you, you will see my truth. You will feel what I feel. But once done, it cannot be undone." Raylan hesitated. The crystal looked fragile, yet powerful. His hand hovered near it, unsure if he was ready to carry someone else's memories. But if this could help end the war, could he refuse? What happens if I accept it? He asked. You'll understand my people in ways your leaders never could. You'll see our history, our fear, our desperation. You'll see why we had to come here. He took a breath. The desert around him disappeared from his focus. Only her and the crystal remained in his world. This was a choice that could reshape everything. He reached out and took the memory core from her hand. It felt warm, alive. It began to glow brighter in his palm. Xilaria's voice was barely a whisper. Close your eyes, Raylan. He obeyed. The world turned to light. Light poured through Raylan's mind like a flood breaking through a dam. His knees buckled, but he didn't fall. He stayed upright, gritting his teeth as the memory core unlocked its truth. He saw Xilaria's world, once green and full of life. He saw cities floating on lakes of crystal and towers made from living stone. He saw children laughing under 3 suns and warriors dancing beside glowing trees. Then came the collapse. 1 sun died first. Then the ice storms came. Crops failed. People fought. The air turned heavy. And through it all, Xilaria stood tall, trying to save what little remained. Raylan felt her grief as if it were his own. He felt her burden, her choices, the weight of every life she couldn't save. And he saw her decision. Leave their dying world or perish with it. The Draken ships launched. Billions in stasis. Only a few warriors awake to guide them. Their goal was simple. Find a world, any world, to survive. Earth was their only chance. He saw the first contact. A scouting team. Shot on sight. Diplomats ignored. Warnings unanswered. Humanity saw invaders, not survivors. The war began before words could be shared. Raylan's hands trembled. His heart felt torn open. This wasn't just an invasion. It was a desperate migration. A last breath from a dying race fighting to live. When the light faded, he dropped to one knee. Sweat ran down his forehead. His eyes blinked hard as he tried to focus on the real world again. Xilaria knelt beside him. Her hand touched his back gently. You saw, she said. You felt it all. Raylan nodded slowly. You didn't come to conquer. You came to survive. She looked away. We didn't mean to start a war, but we couldn't stop it either. Your people saw us as monsters, so we became what they feared just to stay alive. He stood up, steadier. Now. The crystal still pulsed faintly in his hand. It felt like it had become a part of him. He couldn't unsee what he had witnessed. There has to be another way, he said. We can't keep killing each other. There has to be a path forward. Xilaria's eyes were full of hope and pain. There is. But someone must carry our truth to your leaders. Someone they trust. Someone who has seen both sides. Raylan looked at the desert sky. The silence between them grew thicker. He knew what she was asking without her saying the words. He would be the bridge. I'll do it, he said. I'll speak for you. I'll show them what I've seen. But you have to give me time and safety. If I die on the way, the truth dies with me. Xilaria placed her hand over his. Then I swear on my throne, no harm will come to you. You'll reach your people. In the distance, a low rumble echoed. A Draken patrol ship was approaching fast. Dust rose in the air, and shadows grew larger across the sand. Xilaria stood tall again. We must move. If they see us like this, they'll think I've betrayed the cause. We have minutes, not hours. Raylan nodded. Lead the way, Your Majesty. She gave him one last look, soft but fierce. Then she turned and ran toward the rocky ridge. He followed without hesitation. The rocks crumbled under Raylan's boots as he followed Xilaria through the narrow canyon. The sun beat down from above, but the path remained cool in the shadows. The ship's sound behind them was growing louder. Xilaria moved swiftly, her cloak trailing behind her. Her body was graceful, but every motion was filled with tension. She didn't speak. She didn't slow down. Every second mattered. Raylan kept pace, heart pounding. The memory of what he had seen in the crystal still echoed inside him. Her people weren't monsters. They were desperate souls fighting extinction. She paused at a split in the canyon. Her eyes flicked to the left, then the right. "This way," she said quickly and darted into the darker passage. The path narrowed. Raylan had to turn sideways to fit through. His back scraped stone. His breaths were short. He could hear the distant hum of engines above them. Suddenly, Zelaria raised her hand. Raylan stopped. She crouched low, her hand pressed to the ground. A vibration moved through the dirt, steady and sharp. "They've landed," she whispered. "Scouts are coming. We're close to the edge now. Just beyond this ridge, there's a tunnel. If we reach it, we're safe." Raylan nodded. "Lead. I'll cover the rear." She gave a brief nod and kept moving. The ridge opened into a rocky basin. Above them, a Draken scout hovered silently. Its sensors scanned the rocks below. They dropped low. Celaria's body pressed close to the stones. Her skin blended slightly with the shadows. Raylan followed her lead, crawling slowly, silently, watching the sky. A light beam swept past, then another. The drone moved on, unaware of their presence. The silence returned, heavy and sharp like a blade. Celaria turned and gestured toward a crack in the rock wall. It was narrow but deep. She disappeared inside. Raylan followed and found himself in a hidden passage. The walls glowed faintly with alien moss. The light was soft, green, and calming. The sound of the outside world faded as they descended deeper. "This was a smuggler's path," she explained. "Long before the invasion. Some of our traders used it to hide from patrols. Few know it still exists." Raylan looked around. The air was cooler here. The pressure lessened. His body relaxed slightly, but his mind stayed alert. "This wasn't over yet. How far does it go?" he asked. "All the way to the border mountains," she said. "From there we cross into the neutral zone. If we reach it, we can signal your command without alerting the fleet." Raylan's thoughts returned to Earth's leaders. Would they even listen? Would they believe him? He had no proof, only memory and the word of an enemy queen. "I need something they can't deny," he said. "Something they can't ignore or explain away." Celaria stopped walking. She turned to face him. Her eyes held a new depth now. "Then I will go with you. I will face your people myself." Raylan blinked. "They might arrest you. Or worse." "I know," she said calmly. "But this war has taken enough. If I must stand before them to prove my truth, then I will." Raylan placed his hand on the cave wall. "Then we better make it there alive." Celaria nodded once. They moved deeper, into the passage, their steps echoing softly in the silence. The tunnel curved downward before opening into a vast underground chamber. The air was damp, and the walls sparkled with mineral veins that pulsed faintly with green light. Raylan paused to scan the area. His instincts were still sharp. The beauty of the chamber didn't erase the danger that chased them. He didn't trust silence when war was close behind. Celaria moved ahead, her footsteps light. She seemed familiar with the terrain, stepping carefully between the uneven rocks. Her armor glowed faintly with each breath she took. "We will rest here for a moment," she said. "The journey ahead will be harder. And once we reach the surface again, we'll be hunted." Raylan leaned against a stone pillar. His muscles ached from tension. His mind spun with everything he had seen and everything that could still go wrong. "I never thought I'd be running with the queen of the enemy," he said. "And I never thought I'd be protected by a human soldier," she replied with a soft laugh. They both fell silent. The chamber held a strange peace. No gunfire, no shouting. Only the quiet hum of the earth itself. Raylan looked at her. The glow of the minerals reflected off her scales. She didn't look like a threat. She looked tired, determined, alive. How long have you been fighting this war? He asked. Since the first ship was shot down, she answered. We sent envoys. We begged for talks, but all we got was silence and fire, so we responded the only way we knew. Raylan understood now. From both sides, fear had grown faster than trust. One gunshot had started a war that words never got the chance to end. There's a chance your people might see this as betrayal, he said. They already do, she replied. But if peace costs me my crown, I will pay it. Raylan stood. Again. We should keep moving. Resting feels dangerous. She nodded and stepped toward the far end of the chamber. A narrow tunnel sloped upward. This will take us near the edge of the border zone, she said. Once we cross, the sensors will alert both sides. As they climbed, the air changed. It grew cooler, drier. Raylan's fingers brushed the wall. Dust clung to his gloves. They were nearing the surface. A faint rumble echoed behind them. Raylan turned fast, raising his weapon. The tunnel trembled, loose stones fell. He pressed himself to the side, scanning for the threat. Celeria narrowed her eyes. It's a scout drone. They followed our trail. They rushed forward. The tunnel opened slightly, and moonlight poured through a crack above. Raylan jumped and caught the edge, pulling himself up. He reached down and grabbed her hand. Her fingers were firm and sure. She climbed with strength and grace. Together they emerged onto the rocky hills above the valley. In the distance, lights flickered. A human outpost stood in the borderlands, a place where the ceasefire still barely held. Celeria shielded her eyes. We're exposed here. Your people will detect us soon. We need to make contact before they shoot. Raylan activated his emergency beacon. This will send a code to command. They'll trace it here. Let's hope they listen before reacting. A red flare shot into the sky as the beacon lit. There was no going back now. The red flare glowed above them like a wound in the sky. Its light bathed the hills in crimson. Celeria watched it with steady eyes, while Raylan scanned the valley with his rifle ready. The wind picked up. It carried a scent of metal and ash. In the distance, lights moved quickly. Vehicles from the human outpost were already closing in. They're coming fast, Raylan said. We need to stay visible but not threatening. If they think we're enemies, they'll shoot first. Celeria raised her hand slightly. Her armor adjusted, lowering its defensive spikes. She looked smaller now, less like a queen, and more like a traveler lost in a foreign land. Raylan stepped in front of her. His beacon blinked green on his chest. He held his rifle across his back, barrel down. A sign of peace, but readiness too. I hope your leaders value you, Celeria said softly. If not, this will be a short conversation, he smirked. They don't value anyone until they need them, but they'll listen to me. They have to. Headlights pierced the darkness. 3 armored transports rolled over the ridge. Soldiers spilled out, their rifles raised, armor shining under the moons. Stand. Down, one of the officers shouted. Identify yourself and drop your weapon. Raylan raised both hands. Captain Raylan Drake, Southern Command, Code Alpha 847. I'm not alone. The alien beside me is Queen Celeria. She comes in peace. There was silence. Rifles didn't lower. The soldiers looked at each other, unsure what to believe. Raylan could feel the tension in the air like a drawn string ready to snap. Celeria didn't flinch. She stood tall behind him, her posture calm, her face exposed. She didn't reach for a weapon. She didn't speak. She simply waited. The officer stepped closer. His visor scanned Raylan's face. A beep confirmed his ID. You're supposed to be dead. We lost contact days ago. I survived, Raylan said. And I've learned the truth. This war doesn't need to continue. She gave me her memories. I saw their world. I felt their pain. They didn't come to conquer. They came to survive. The officer's expression tightened. He looked past Raylan at Celeria. And you trust her? With my life, Raylan answered. There was a long pause. The kind that stretches time and tests hearts. Then the officer turned and gave a hand signal. The soldiers slowly lowered their weapons. Zelaria exhaled. Her shoulders relaxed slightly. For the first time, she looked less like a warrior and more like a tired queen hoping for a chance. "We'll take you both to command," the officer said. "But if this is a trap, it ends there." "It's not," Raylan replied. "This is our only chance to stop the bloodshed." Two soldiers approached cautiously. One offered Zelaria a neutral-colored cloak. She took it and draped it over her. Armor. They loaded into the transport, silence sitting heavy between all of them. No one spoke during the ride. Only the hum of the engine filled the space. Raylan stared out the window. He knew this was only the beginning. The hardest part still waited ahead. Beside him, Zelaria whispered one word: hope. The transport rolled through the steel gates of Central Command. Spotlights swept the area, casting long shadows on the ground. Armed guards lined the path, their eyes fixed on the passengers inside. Raylan stepped out first. His boots touched the polished floor of the command courtyard. The place felt colder than he remembered. It was not just the air, but the silence of suspicion. Zelaria followed. She kept the cloak wrapped around her body, her posture tall and proud. The human soldiers stared at her, unsure whether to fear or admire her. A general approached. His face was carved with age and war. His eyes narrowed when he saw the alien queen. He stopped a few steps away, jaw tight and voice firm. "Explain." "This," he said. Raylan stood at attention. "Sir, I request immediate audience with the War Council. The Queen carries evidence. I carry memory. We need to be heard before another drop of blood is spilled." The general didn't blink. "And if I say no, then you'll lose the last chance we have to end this war," Raylan said. "And history will blame you for the ashes that follow." For a long moment, no one moved. Then the general turned and barked an order. "Bring them to the chamber. No sudden movements. No mistakes." They were led through long halls filled with digital walls and flickering lights. The council, chamber doors opened slowly, revealing 7 figures seated in a wide arc. Each wore the mark of a different division of Earth's defense. The council didn't speak at first. They watched as Raylan and Zelaria stepped onto the platform. The room fell into complete silence. "I was captured during the first wave," Raylan began. "But I wasn't killed. I was shown something greater. Not fear, not lies, but truth. The truth that we are fighting a race that came here not to destroy, but to live." He lifted the memory crystal. "This holds her thoughts, her pain, her people's story. I've seen it, and I ask you to see it too." The council exchanged wary glances. One of them gestured. A technician stepped forward and connected the crystal to the projection grid. Light burst across the room. They saw the dying world, the broken skies, the frozen cities, the desperate hope written on alien faces. They saw Zelaria's rise, her grief, her sacrifices. They saw the rejection of every peace attempt. Some gasped. Some stared without expression, but none turned away. When the projection faded, Zelaria stepped forward. "We do not ask for pity," she said. "We ask for coexistence. Let us settle where your people do not walk. Let us rebuild without burning what you've built." One council member leaned forward. "Why should we trust you?" She removed the cloak, revealing her full armor and scales. "Because I came here unarmed. Because I stood in your stronghold, when I could have stayed hidden. Because I believe one human with a clear heart is worth more than 1,000 soldiers with blind orders." The room remained quiet. The weight of choice hung heavy in the air. Raylan's voice broke the silence one last time. "You have seen the truth. What you do now will decide the future. Not just for us. For all of us." The head counselor stood. "We will deliberate. You will remain under protection. No harm will come while we decide." Raylan nodded. Zelaria bowed slightly. It was done. Outside, The stars shimmered peacefully for the first time in years.